Because Allah did not sleep with light, and it's not funny. But the one that is telling me, all of us were looking for light. Let me advise you. You better go and put solar. Don't say I say it too. Well, I'm telling you secrets now. Presidential villa, she has put solar light. Guy, what does not happen in Nigeria, it does not exist. Allah. Come and see one video. Allah mechanic play that video. You will see presidential villa where the president is staying. There is solar light. So if president should put solar, who are you? Who are me, Kuma? Eh? So me, I'll go and look for money. Even though it's to borrow the money to put solar, I will try my best. Mechanic to Allah play that video. So Nigeria will see what is happening in Nigeria. So can I get it? This is solar, huh? You can see who the car park is like a solar. Don't bother yourself. Go and buy solar. But the problem is, guy, if you buy solar, who is going to? If you buy solar, Kuma, what is going to happen to your meter? Yeah, you sell meter, go. Oh, you sell your meter. Oh, yeah, solar. I'm trying to look for money to buy solar. But now I hope this solar, they're not going to spoil it, because I don't understand. We buy generator. That time we buy generator, we will just see the thank God to have generator. Now generator fuel, oh, it's a no-go area. We carry one small gallon. You go and buy fuel. Well, the gallon should not go anywhere. You be like you buy one cup of put up your generator. Well, even the generator should ring. The sound Kuma she's going to change. Allah, everywhere she's wahala. I don't understand what is going on, but God, she's going to help us to make sure that we come out for this problem, because this problem is very big one. I don't know, with 31 children and 7 wives. If you see the way we are sleeping like Kamahaka, like Kudusa, we climb each other. Like the last time my wife, 7 wives, 1 bed. That is why I'm not fat. 4 sleep here, straight she sleep here. Where are we going to get fat from? Because everywhere there is no space. On top of that, there's no light. If you see the mosquito, the light mosquito, I kill them. Pa! Well, the blood, she's still rushing in my room. She suck. When you see mosquito, she drink blood, you can't do. That is the kind of mosquito in my house. So, prayer government to Allah, I'm begging you, let them help us with the light. If they cannot give us light, they should share solar for us. Over 1 liter of solar is okay. Everybody can manage it so that we can have light. Because this light issue is a very serious something. Now I want to go and pray because I'm just warming up. When I come back, I'm going to give you the remaining story. Allah, that one is very shocking. Don't touch that guy. I'm coming back. Let me go and drink some more water. I now go to Malan Sikwe. She says so. All of you. Before I know
This is Midday News coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us. I am Sadie Suleiman Kamba. First, the headlines. ADC fixes 2026 primary election timetable, set presidential form at 100 million naira. Konkoso speaks on ADC crisis, possible political realignment. Economists raise concerns over accountability in rising FAC allocations. NDLEA arrests 2 elderly men over drug trafficking in Abia and Ekiti. On the foreign scene, US approves $8.6 billion arms sales to Middle East allies amid Iran conflict. Details of these and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. And now the has released a timetable for the 2026 primary elections ahead of the 2027 general elections, with its presidential primary scheduled for May 25th, 2026. The party also pegged the cost of its presidential nomination form at 100 million naira, as announced in a statement by its spokesperson, Bolaji Abdullahi. It began with application form collection from April 1st to May 4th. Followed by the sale of nomination forms from May 5th to May 10th. Submission of completed forms runs from May 11th to May 13th, while screening of aspirants will hold between May 14th and May 15th, with results published on May 17th. Appeals will be heard from the May 18th to May 19th, and the final list of candidates released on Monday, on May 28th rather. Primary elections for legislative and governorship positions are set for May 21st and May 22nd respectively, before the presidential primary concludes the process on May 25th. Senator Rabiu Musa Kankaso has addressed reports about his possible exit from the African Democratic Congress, saying no final decision has been made regarding his political future. This follows speculation that he and Peter Obi may soon join the Nigeria Democratic Congress (NDC). Kankaso explained that internal challenges within ADC, including legal disputes, have created uncertainty within the party. He pointed to the recent court rulings, including a Supreme Court decision affirming the leadership of David Mark, while also sending aspects of the case back to the High Court, as well as a Federal High Court judgment, and questioned the party's convention. He added that these issues have placed ADC in a difficult position, similar to the legal troubles that forced him and his supporters to leave the new Nigerian People's Party (NNPP). As a result, he confirmed ongoing consultations with various political groups, including NDC and BRP, about his presidential ambition within ADC, stating he has neither declared interest nor endorsed any candidate. He emphasizes history of supporting party unity and national interest, referencing his past roles in major primaries and elections. He urged supporters to remain patient, assuring them that any decision about his next political move will be officially communicated soon. Former federal lawmaker Ishaku Abu, who represented Adamawa North in the 9th Senate, has resigned from the African Democratic Congress (ADC, citing deepening leadership crisis at both national and state levels. He said conflicting court rulings, including a Federal High Court decision nullifying state congresses and a Supreme Court directive sending the leadership dispute back for further hearing, have created widespread uncertainty within the party. Abu, who leads the SIA movement, announced that he has now joined the Labour Party Nigeria (LP) alongside his supporters in preparation for the 2027 general elections. He explained that his decision was driven by the need to pursue political aspirations and represent the hopes of his followers, stressing that his exit from ADC was not out of bitterness but necessity. While appealing for understanding from his former associates in ADC, Abu acknowledged past grievances, but stated he has forgiven those who wronged him during his time in the party. He also disclosed plans to soon unveil his preferred presidential candidate, noting that the decision would be made in close collaboration with the Labour Party leadership. The Nigerian Democratic Congress (NDC) is strengthening its political base ahead of the 2027 general elections, with several prominent politicians formally joining the party at a major reception held in Abuja. The event was led by the party's national leader, Henry Siriake Dixon, alongside National Chairman Moses Cleopas and other members of the National Working Committee, who described the development as a sign of growing national confidence in the party. Among the high-profile defectors were Babatunde Ali, former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Redemption Party (PRP), Muhammad Sani Yahya, the NNPP governorship candidate in Taraba State during the 2023 elections, and Ehozua Johnson, a former House of Representatives member and ex-board member of the Code of Conduct Bureau. They joined the NDC alongside a large number of supporters with membership cards officially presented to symbolize their full integration into the party. In his remark, Dixon stated that the influx of new members reflects increasing trust in the NDC's vision for national renewal and inclusive governance. He emphasized that the party remains committed to building a broad-based political movement capable of addressing Nigeria's challenges and providing credible leadership ahead of the next general elections. Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State says the recent Supreme Court judgment on the crisis within the People's Democratic Party has prevented any faction from taking full control of the party. He noted that neither the camp led by Tanimu Taraki nor the group aligned with Inyosi Muiki emerged victorious, describing the ruling as a neutral outcome that halted what he called on an attempted takeover. Speaking in an interview with a media house, Muhammad said his faction played a key role in stopping the alleged domination of the party, while reaffirming respect for the court decision. He added that the party's board of trustees will temporarily manage party affairs until a caretaker committee is established. The governor also accused Wike of undermining the party and maintaining links with the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). Mohammed further revealed that he and his supporters are considering leaving the PDP ahead of the 2027 elections to pursue their ambitions on a more stable platform. While expressing emotional ties to the party, he stressed the need to move forward politically and confirmed his intention to contest the Bauchi South senatorial seat. He added that the consultations with alternative parties are ongoing amid concerns about efforts to weaken opposition parties. Former Minister of Communications and Digital Economy Issa Pantami has suspended one of his social media aides indefinitely over a controversial post labeling political opponents and not supporting clerics as hypocrites. Pantami distanced himself from the new deleted message shared on his verified Facebook page, stressing that it was not authorized and does not reflect his leadership style or political values. The Gombe governorship aspirant reaffirmed his commitment to inclusivity, respect for diverse opinions, and the importance of criticism in democratic engagement. He emphasized that his political vision is rooted in fairness across religious and ethnic lines, noting that his stream reflects Nigeria's diversity. Pantami is seeking to succeed in Yahya, who is completing his second term as governor of Gombe State. And now, to education matter. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has announced that its 2026 policy meeting on admissions will hold on Monday, May 11th, where key decisions, including the minimum unified tertiary matriculation examinations cut-off marks for the 2026-2027 academic session, will be determined. The announcement was made in a statement by JAMB spokesperson Fabian Benjamin. The meeting is scheduled to take place at the body of Benchers Auditorium in Abuja and will be presided over with key policy directions expected from the Minister of Education, Maruf Alausa. It will also officially set the framework for the upcoming admission exercise across tertiary institutions in Nigeria. According to JAMB, the annual policy meeting is a critical forum where stakeholders agree on admission guidelines, minimum UTME scores, and related policies. Participants will include vice chancellors, rectors, provosts, registrars, and admission officers from various tertiary institutions. And on to security matter. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has arrested two elderly men, aged 83 and 78, in separate operations linked to drug trafficking in Abia and Ekiti State. The arrests were confirmed in a statement by the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi. In Abia State, the 83-year-old Pa John Ofiel was arrested during a raid in Aba following intelligence reports that he was involved in the sale of illicit drugs. NDLEA officers reportedly recovered 700 grams of skunk, a strain of cannabis, packaged in retail sachet from him. He told investigators he was formerly a shoemaker before turning to drug dealing. In a separate operation in Ekiti State, 78-year-old Ogunjobi Samuel was arrested at his residence in Elupeju, Ekiti, for alleged drug peddling. Authorities said 350 grams of skunk were seized from him during the arrest, as investigations into the cases continue. And to business. Nigeria's post-subsidy revenue surge has significantly boosted allocations from the Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, helping ease debt pressures across several states, following the removal of petrol subsidy and foreign exchange reforms in 2023. Annual FAC disbursement rose from 10.14 trillion naira to about 15.12 trillion naira in 2024, with projections exceeding 20 trillion naira in 2025. This increase has strengthened state finances and enabled modest debt reduction, though some states continue borrowing, reflecting uneven fiscal conditions nationwide. Despite improved revenues, economists warn that the gains have not translated into meaningful development outcomes. Moda Yusuf of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise highlighted weak transparency and limited disclosure of budgets, spending and project execution at state and local levels. She stressed that without accountability and citizen engagement, increased revenues risk being poorly managed and failing to deliver tangible benefits. Similarly, Ayokunle and Co. noted that development indicators have not improved in line with rising allocations, questioning how funds are utilized. Analysts also warn that much of the revenue growth is driven by exchange rate effect rather than real economic expansion, urging states to improve internal revenue, ensure efficient spending, and focus on inclusive development, particularly in underserved rural areas. And on to the foreign scene. The United States has approved $8.6 billion in arms sales to key Middle East allies as tensions escalate in the ongoing conflict involving Iran. Secretary of State Marco Rubio invoked emergency powers to fast-track the deals without prior congressional reviews, citing urgent national security concerns. The move comes as allies face sustained missile and drone attacks, depleting their defense stockpiles. The approved packages include nearly $1 billion worth of advanced precision kill weapon systems for Israel, $2.5 billion in battle command systems for Kuwait, and close to $5 billion in weapons and Patriot missile defense restocking for Qatar. The United Arab Emirates is also set to receive APKWS values at $148 million. These systems are designed to enhance air defense and improve the precision strike capabilities. According to the U.S. State Department, the emergency approval aligns with national security interests and allows the transfers to bypass the usual congressional process under the Arms Export Control Act. The sales follow earlier approvals in March worth $16.5 billion to regional allies, underscoring Washington's continued military support amid growing regional instability. China has issued an injunction against U.S. sanctions targeting 5 Chinese teapot oil refineries accused of purchasing crude oil from Iran. The U.S. Treasury Department had earlier barred these firms from the U.S. financial system and warned against any international dealings with them, as part of Washington's wider pressure on Iran's oil exports. In response, China's Ministry of Commerce described the sanctions as improper and said they interfere with legitimate business between Chinese companies and third countries. It urged that the measures violate international law and the basic norms governing international relations, insisting that China opposes unilateral sanctions imposed without United Nations approval. The ministry also declared a prohibition order, stating that the U.S. sanctions would not be recognized or enforced in China, framing the move as necessary to protect national sovereignty and development interests. The affected companies include Hengli Petrochemical Refinery and 4 other independent refineries, some of which had already been sanctioned by the U.S. in previous actions. And that wraps up today's bulletin. But before we go, the headlines again. Concoso speaks on ADC crisis, possible political alignment. Economists raise concerns over accountability in rising FAC allocations. NDLEA arrests 2 elderly men of drug trafficking in Abia and Ekiti. US approved $8.6 billion arms sales to Middle East allies amid Iran conflict. For more updates and in-depth analysis, follow Politics and Business Television English on YouTube and Facebook. Connect with us on Instagram at PMBTV English and TikTok at PMBTV English. Remember to subscribe and stay informed. Bye for now.
Performance so far, yes, and I think he deserves nothing than the bigger job himself. Probably take him to Real Madrid, give him good players. I think he's going to explode. There's no two ways about it. But let's move straight to Morocco because we are running out of time. Nigerian representative, the Marktown Flyers, made a historic debut in the Sahara Conference, from often referred to the Kalahari Conference in the regional discussion. In Rabat, the debut high after a historic 76 to 68 opening win over JCA Kings. The Flyers' early success led a sense of complacency in their subsequent matches. Free throw goals in their 89-80 loss to Al Ahly, and the Flyers shot, in fact, their field goals percentage than Egyptian. It was even better, but we don't know what is the problem. Flyers lost yesterday, and now we just need the win for the final game for us to know if we are going to progress to the next stage. But in your own opinion, Oba, we have the debutant Marktown Flyers that is going to represent Nigeria at the bar. This is their first time they are going. You know, we have it has been River Upas that have been going, and also have Kwara Falcons went one time as well. But so far, our best position or our best bet was River Upas that finished third in this same championship. But with what Marktown Flyers is doing now, do you think we can build on this? Can we fault them, because this is their first time that they are going to a competition like this? Oba.
Okay, Uncle Ebe, you are a Christian, Chili.
I am.
So, the Bible says something that if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous
just do?
There is nothing Marktown Flyers will do. There is no magic they will perform in the Basketball African League this season. Let's just forget about it. That's number one. Number two is the fact that the foundation I'm talking about here is the Nigerian basketball. When Basketball African League is approaching, that's when we'll bring up one year league. We'll play one nonsense so that we can get one team that we want to go and represent us at the Basketball African League. It's a shame that we find ourselves that for 10 good years that Amadu Kida-led executive ruled this nation as basketball MBBF executive. We do not have a league. We do not have anything basketball, including the male basketball national team. We are ashamed of them. If Lorena Wakama, who is a coach in the US, that decides to take it upon herself, the lady's story will be the same. Okay, kudos to Markham Flyer. It's their first time in Basketball African League. First game they won, second game lost, third game lost, annoyingly, third game was painful against Al Ali. It was so painful. The one that lost yesterday against Club African, I was pissed off. Senior man, they lack experience. They got quality players.
That's what I wanted to ask. That's what I wanted to ask, Oba. Their roster is somehow very good. We'll have somebody like J.C. Butler Jr. and Kobe that have been shooting everywhere. I just, is it that the to gel this player early, or the camp, they did not open camp early? I think, is that the problem? I don't know.
Before I go for that, let me ask you this. Those days you were playing basketball, especially the collegiate basketball that you played very well, if the administration of the team was not in good shape, will it not affect the squad?
Definitely, it will.
That is the problem I have. When the whole is not in good shape, the front row will be affected. Okay, Markham Flyer is a private club, right?
Yeah.
But that support, they have to be backed by the NBBF of Nigeria.
Do you think they got?
And the NBBF is affecting the sport. Now let's analyze the team properly and leave the administrative aspects out. Who is their coach? How many of the ballers that they have has gone to a major competition like the Basketball African League? Experience does matter. If you are talking about intercollegiate basketball in Nigeria, you cannot be pushed aside because you have experience. You have represented your army matter at some point in time. You understand how this game is being played. You know what is required when it comes to major competition like that. I'm pretty sure you do. But trust me, when we do not have quality experience in our squad, it will affect us going forward when we meet some of these North African teams that are well experienced and well exposed.
Well said, Oba. Oba, I think you are well spot on, and I could see the fire, I could see the desire, I could see the passion that is coming out of you. But honestly, it's painful seeing our team crumbling down there. But what do we do? But again, for the Marktown Flyers, can't we make an excuse for them, or make a case for them that, okay, this is the first time they are going. They just went there to test the water. Probably if eventually they win the league this season, they might represent us next year and we might see something better. Don't you think so, Oba? In 2 minutes, please, because we are running out of time.
Okay, quickly. You say we should make excuses for them. Yes, I agree. It's their very first time. They're coming in for the first time. But look at how they have performed en route to the Basketball Africans Kalahari League. Look at how they have performed. Their first game, it was ending in victory for them. Look at how he was, what's his name? Their shooter. Look at how he was shooting everywhere.
Kobe.
In my mind, we thought that, okay, this team could represent what Rivers Hoopers could not do for us. Rivers Hoopers even got to third.
Yeah.
You made mention of Kwara. These are people with past experience. But how far your shooting personality be the only one. I was discussing with someone on my sports show this morning that, hold on, how did Minnesota Timberwolves bundle the Denver Nuggets out with their Nikola Jokic? The person told me that simply one thing that Jokic is concerned, making triple doubles, and he's able to make doubles. He knows how far with the rest of the team. Are they also contributing? Are they matching up, or they are looking at the fact that the other teams are bigger than them?
Oba, I would have loved us to continue this conversation, but unfortunately, time is never our friend on this show. That's all the fire we have for today's edition. A huge thank you to Oba for bringing that Ibadan magic to our analysis. Thank you so much, Oba.
Bonjour la classe, je suis toujours votre Madame Félicité de la langue française. Good morning class. I'm as usual your French teacher in this class. Today we are going to take our module 6. Aujourd'hui on va prendre notre module 6 dans notre classe de français. So without much wasting of time, I want us to have a little bit of recap of what we did in the last class. We learned in the last class, the most important thing we learned in the last class was how to be able to use some polite ways of greeting. I mean, asking questions, your name, to t'appelles qui? Ou bien you say, comment tu t'appelles? That means, what are you called? Or what is your name? You are meeting someone for the first time. So the immediate question is that you ask and you have an immediate response. That means, je m'appelle. Je m'appelle. That means I'm called. Then you now mention your name. I'm called Aisha. Je m'appelle Aisha. As you are responding and mentioning your name, his or her name. By responding to moi, je m'appelle Memuna, or je m'appelle Josie. You can use, we learned two new words, mademoiselle, mademoiselle. You can, mademoiselle means miss, M-I-S-A, someone that is not married. Then you have monsieur, monsieur. Monsieur means Mr. Then we learned another one again, Director General, that's Director General. So if you are asking, for example, meeting someone for the first time, you can say, c'est qui? C'est qui? The response you begin with, c'est le Directeur Général, or you say, c'est Mademoiselle Amina, or Mademoiselle Rebecca. Or you can say, c'est Monsieur Ebel, or Monsieur Salisu. So you can go on and on, but for the most important thing for us that we learned in the last class was how to ask, comment tu t'appelles, what is your name, or what are you called? And as I said, I'm repeating again, the response is, je m'appelle, you give your answer. Je m'appelle, then your name. Then again, we went further to make mention of some polite ways of greeting someone, introducing yourself to someone, so as to get the immediate answer to what you are looking for. You are meeting someone for the first time. You can say in a very polite way to someone that has just come into your house, welcome. Welcome is bienvenue. Bienvenue. Then we looked at au revoir. Au revoir means goodbye. Again, we went further to say that when someone is traveling, normally you tell the person, safe journey, safe journey. That means bon voyage, bon voyage. You have closed at the end of the work, going home, you can say, à la prochaine, à la semaine prochaine. That means see you next week, see you next week. And if you are just at work or even in class or in school, you want to step a little bit to go somewhere or to have something doing, you say to the person next to you or your classmates, à bientôt, à tout à l'heure, à tout à l'heure. That means see you later, see you later. Now let's quickly go to the next thing, the topic of today for this class. In this class, we are going to learn how to mention the months of the year, the months in a year that we have, as you can see on the board. Le mois de l'année. Le mois de l'année means months in a year. In English, we have January, we have February, we have March, we have April, we have May, we have June, we have July, we have August, we have September, we have October, we have November, we have December. So let's quickly take them one after the other because the pronunciation are a little bit complicated. So you have to listen very, very attentively. Aujourd'hui, on va apprendre comment on dit les mois de l'année. On commence avec janvier jusqu'à décembre. Donc, il faut regarder sur le tableau pour voir ce que je vais expliquer. So you look at the board very well so as to see what I'm going to explain. As you can see on the board, we have January. That's in English, January. In French, it is being pronounced as janvier. Janvier. January means janvier. Then let's go down to February. February. February is février. 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 March. March, that's in English. In French, we call it Mars. 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 Then we have April. April in English. What does it mean in French? Avril. Avril. Again, Avril. Let's go up and see how we pronounce May, the month that we are in right now, that started just yesterday. May, as you can see, sounds the same as it is being pronounced in English, except that the spelling differ with just I at the end. In English, we have Y at the end, May, but in French, it is May. The same pronunciation, but the spelling differs with the I and the Y. May, May. So that is very simple. Then we have June. June, that's in English. In French, it is June. June, because it's pronounced as J. J. Don't let that bother you because we are yet to learn how to have the sounds of the alphabets. Actually, we should have started with that, but I wanted us to begin with how to introduce, to greet. You cannot just meet someone and start telling the person about months or numbers. You just have to start with the greeting because French people are very particular about greeting. Then again, let me take June. June in English, in French is June. June. Then we have July. July, that's in English. In French, listen very attentively. Juillet. Juillet. That's the double L. In the middle, we pronounce the double L. You pronounce the double S as if we are pronouncing Y, letter Y. Juillet. Juillet. Let me take it again. July. July, that's in English. In French is Juillet. Juillet. Let's go down to August. August. You can see August is a little bit complicated, even looking at the spelling. August in French is août. Août. A-O-U with the accent at the top of the U, then T. Août, that means August. Août again means August in English. Then let's go to the rest. We have September. September, that's in English. September. Just look at the spellings very well. In French, you pronounce it as septembre. Septembre. It's like the P is silenced a little bit. So you go to pronounce it as septembre. Septembre. Je répète, septembre. That means September. Should I take it again? Septembre. Septembre. Of course, with the sound of September, all others follow in that direction. October. October. That's in French we say Octobre. Octobre. Please here, just make sure that the pronunciation of the R is out. Octobre. Octobre. Now let's look at November. November. That's in English. In French, it's being pronounced as Novembre. Novembre. Je répète, Novembre. Again, having learned this, we go to the last. December. December. Sorry, there's a little mistake there. The E at the end of it in French is missing. It's décembre. Just use your pen to add the E at the end. December is being pronounced as décembre. Décembre. So let's quickly go back to the months again. We began by saying that January is pronounced as janvier. Janvier, that means January, janvier. Then we have February. February is being pronounced as février. Février. March is pronounced as Mars. Mars. Then we have April. April is pronounced as Avril. Avril. Then we have May. May, it sounds the same as in English except for the spelling. Y at the end of May in English, but in French we have letter I. That's May. 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 June, that's in English, the month of June. In French, it is pronounced as June. 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 Then we have July. July in French is pronounced as Juillet. Juillet. So the tactic here is that you pronounce the true letter L as if you are pronouncing just one letter Y. Then you get your sound of Juillet. Juillet. Then we have August. August. That's in English. In French, August is pronounced as août. Août. Then let's quickly move to the remaining last part of the month. We have September. September is Septembre. We have October. October is Octobre. We have November. November is pronounced as Novembre. Then the last one is December. December is pronounced as Decembre. Decembre. So that's all we have for the months in a year. I hope we have learned that. You can always repeat, play back so as to learn. You know, as I always encourage us, that learning is a gradual process. You don't need to be fast in learning. So I have an instruction I want to give us again, just as we did in the last class. So having learned all this, having learned how to say the months of a year, as usual, drop your question on our YouTube so that we attend to them to make learning easier. And it will help us to know how we are progressing in our learning. See you in the next class. I'm always yours, Felicia Michael Dunca. Après avoir appris à dire les mots de l'année comme d'habitude, laissez vos questions sur notre chaîne YouTube afin que nous puissions y répondre et rendre l'apprentissage plus facile pour nous au fur et à mesure de nos progrès. Au revoir. Bonjour la classe et bonjour mes élèves. Aujourd'hui, on est là encore pour apprendre les nouvelles choses dans notre classe. Good morning, my class and my lovely students. Today, we are here to learn something new in our class, a new topic as very good students. But before we start, I want us to have a recap of what we did last week. Last week, we were able to complete the learning of some of the nouns used, for example, like father, mother, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, in greeting people, and even professor, colleagues, and friends at work. We were able to learn all those ones, and I believe we were able to put into practice what we learned by applying some of the greetings, the salutations and introduction we learned in our very first class. For example, as we made mention of saying, good morning, father, good morning, mother, good morning, my brother, good morning, my sister, good morning, my classmates. Classmate, as we learned last week, we said, camarade do class. Husband, for husband, we said, mari. That means husband. Femme is wife. Again, you can also use épouse. Then we have cousin, as in English. In French, it's being pronounced as cousine. Then you have step brothers, step sisters. Anything step is being called demi. You have demi frère, demi sœur. You have beau frère, beau sœur. That's step, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Depending on the context, you can also use demi as when you want to refer to your sister. Then we have also your stepfather. That's demi-père, demi-mère. That's stepmother. So all those ones we were able to look at last week, and you were asked to drop your questions in our YouTube. Well, I want to believe that some of you did that very well. And even if you're not able to do, you're able to put into practice what we learned last week. Of course, we even made mention of neighbors. Your neighbors is your voisin. Voisin is your neighbor. So today we are going to learn something new, and today is being our module 5 class. We are going to learn how to use some of the, to be able to use some of the nouns again to greet, especially when you want to introduce yourself. So today being the Saturday, second Saturday of May, we're in a new month, and I welcome all of us to the new month of May. As you can see on the board, la date, that means days. Samedi, last week we were able to learn the days of the week too. We said we started with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So in French, dimanche means Sunday. We have lundi, we have mardi, we have mercredi, we have jeudi, vendredi, and samedi, as you can see on the board. Today is a Saturday, and our Saturday is the 2nd of May. We have samedi, do, May, then 2026. That's our today's date. Then the subject we are learning is what? Français. That's sujet, français. Then let's quickly go to the topic of the day. That's the theme. The theme is on questions you need to know how to use them when you're introducing yourself to someone. In French, we say, voici les questions essentielles. That's essential questions. Pour poser, présenter, traduite en français. J'inclus les versions informelles. So there are questions you are able to use when you are introducing yourself to someone. Let's quickly go on to those kind of questions we have to learn today. Now look at the board very well. There's an instruction on the board that I want us to always look at what is written on the board, think on what is written, and then you repeat. In French, we say regard. Regard means to look. Then réfléchir. Réfléchir means to think. Is and. Then repeat. Repeat means to repeat. You can see they almost sound the same as in English. Regard, réfléchir, et repeat. Then the question. Question in French is being pronounced as question. The same spelling as in English, question. And what are you called? What are the questions you are here to learn today? The immediate question you want us to learn today, I want us to learn today is, when you are meeting someone for the first time, the person will want to know of your name. What are you called? Or what is your name? And in that, if you want to put it in French, what are you called or what is your name in French means tu t'appelles comment. That's a direct translation of French to English. Tu t'appelles comment. That means how are you called? Or the OU there means or, that's OR in English. Comment tu t'appelles comment ou comment tu t'appelles. So once you hear a French person asking you tu t'appelles comment or comment tu t'appelles, the person is simply asking you what are you called or what is your name. What are you called or what is your name? And the immediate response will be my name is, then you mention your name. As you can see on the board, response. In French, response means répondre. Répondre. Then if you want to respond, you simply say, je m'appelle. I use ACB as a name. Je m'appelle, that means I am called. I am called ACB. Just look at the board very well again. You see a toi with a question mark. It's a question. Because in French, if someone asks you, what is your name? And you respond, my name is ACB. The immediate thing will be, that person answering you, my name is ACB, will also ask you, and you, what is your name? What is your name means et toi. Et toi. Now let's go a little bit back again. Comment tu t'appelles? Or comment tu t'appelles? Or comment tu t'appelles? Or tu t'appelles comment? Excuse me. Comment tu t'appelles? Or tu t'appelles comment? They all mean the same. That means what are you called or what is your name? Then you respond, je m'appelle ACB et toi. That means I'm called ACB and you. Then you too will reply back by mentioning your name. And you, then you now say, in responding to your name, to this question, you now say, moi, that means me or I. Moi, c'est Lucy. Moi, c'est Lucy. Now let me ask again. Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Moi, je m'appelle ACB et toi? Je m'appelle Lucy. Have you understood that? Comment tu t'appelles? Or you can answer, je m'appelle ACB et toi and you. I'm called ACB and you. Then you now answer, moi, c'est Lucy. Or you can also say, moi, je m'appelle Lucy. That means I'm Lucy. Now let's go a little bit faster because we have a lot to learn today. Again, looking at the board, we can see it written, je m'appelle Lucy. Je m'appelle Lucy. Normally in an introduction of oneself, if you mention your name, je m'appelle Lucy, you can as well go further to say, je suis Nigerian. You see the spelling of Nigerian. That means in Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian. Je suis Nigerian. Je m'appelle Lucy. That means I'm called Lucy. And again, Lucy is going further to tell us that she is a Nigerian. That means in French, je suis Nigerian. I'm called Lucy. I'm a Nigerian. Are we clear with this? Now let's move on to another question that comes immediately after that is, where do you live? the person will want to ask, where do you live? Or the person will want to personally go further to tell you that I'm a student. We're in a class environment, of course. Then just look at the board very well. You can see it written, Je suis élève. Je suis élève. That means I am a student. I am a student means je suis élève. You can see j'habite à Abuja. J'habite à Abuja. That means I am a student and I live in Abuja, as it is written clearly on the board. I am a student and I live in Abuja. I'm sure we are clear with this. Or do you want me to take it again? Now let's quickly go back. Je m'appelle Lucy. Je suis Nigerian. That means I am called Lucy. I'm a Nigerian. The next one. Je suis élève et j'habite à Abuja. I'm a student and I live in Abuja. I'm sure that we have clearly understood it. Now we move on to the next. Again, someone will want to ask you, who is this? Meeting someone for the first time, you may want to ask, who is this? Who is this in French means, c'est qui? C'est qui? You can see the C apostrophe, then E-S-T. Then another word, Q-U-I, is a question. C'est la question. C'est qui? That means, who is this? The person will immediately answer, c'est Kunle. That's, it is Kunle. Who is this? Who am I meeting for the first time? You are meeting Kunle. C'est Kunle. You can go on to say, c'est Monsieur Ebel. Monsieur Ebel. Monsieur, even though we didn't mention in the last class, but I'm going to tell you us what Monsieur means. Monsieur means Mr. Mr. You can use Mr. to address to someone more senior to you. Mr. Ebel. Say Monsieur Ebel. That means it is Mr. Ebel. Now let's quickly go up again and see what we have. You can also say mademoiselle. The word mademoiselle means miss. It means miss. It is miss. If I ask again the question, c'est qui? You can tell me, c'est mademoiselle Ola. Or you can say, c'est mademoiselle Aisha. That means it is Miss Ola or it is Miss Aisha. Again, you can go on to say, c'est qui? The person will answer you, c'est mon père. That means it is my father. For example, your father calls you on the phone and you are sitting with a friend having a chat, and the person will be eager to ask to know, who are you speaking with? Who are you on the phone with? You can say, c'est mon père. C'est mon père. As you are seeing on the board again, we have, c'est ma mère. C'est ma mère. Or you can go on to say, c'est mon ami. C'est mon ami. You can see the ami without the E. The ami with the I at the end means the person is what? Is my friend. Masculine. The person is my friend. Masculine. But if there's E at the end of the I, as we learned last week, that means the person is what? My friend. Feminine. C'est mon ami. Your friend, for example, coming into your house to pay you a visit, and your mother is meeting the person, your friend, for the first time, she will ask, c'est qui? Mon fils. That means, who is this? My son. Or ma fille. Who is this? My daughter. We learned all those last week. Fille and fille. You can say, c'est mon ami. That means, it's my friend. The person is my friend. Then again, we have, c'est directeur général. C'est directeur général. That means, it is the director general. It is the director general. Have we learned all this? Let me go back a little bit. It is Miss Mademoiselle means Miss. Then we have Monsieur. Monsieur means Mr. Then we have a new word up there. Director. Say Director General. That means it is Director General. Now let's quickly move a little bit faster. Again, I'm giving this as a bonus to the previous classes we have had. In greeting, there are polite ways. There are words you use to greet politely, and you quickly get the attention of someone who wants to listen to, or whom you want to listen to you. Up there we have polite form of greeting. Polite form of greeting in French. We say formule de politesse. Formule de politesse, that's the form of greetings. Polite form of greetings in French. You are seeing someone coming, maybe the person has gone to work and is coming back in the evening. You say welcome in English, isn't it? So welcome in French means bienvenue. Bienvenue. With a soft voice, bienvenue. Bienvenue. That means what? Welcome. Welcome. Bienvenue. Then we have, as you can see on the board, goodbye. Goodbye. Normally goodbye goes with a sign. Even little children know that. Goodbye. If you are saying goodbye in French, in English, and you want to say it in French, goodbye means au revoir. Au revoir. You silence the U and you join the R with the remaining letters. Au revoir. Au revoir. Again, goodbye means au revoir in French. A little bit down we see you soon. See you soon. What is see you soon? As you can see on the board, it is pronounced in French as à bientôt. À bientôt. You want to be away maybe for some hours from your friend. You can say à bientôt mon ami. À bientôt Josie. À bientôt mon père. À bientôt ma mère. À bientôt le directeur général. That means see you soon. All these names I mentioned. Again, if you want to say safe journey, normally safe journey has to do with someone who is traveling, who will be away for a day or two or more, or even for a longer time like 1 year, 2 years, or forever you may not see the person. Someone traveling to go and settle out there. You say safe journey. Safe journey. What is safe journey in French? It means bon voyage. Bon voyage. That means safe journey. Again, bon voyage. Bon voyage. Répétez. Bon voyage. Now, having learned this, let's learn how to say see you tomorrow. You have closed from work at the end of the day, and you are not going to see your colleagues until the next day. So what do you say here? Or you have closed from school, you are not going to see your comrades de class. What do you say? You say à demain. À demain. It's like you leave the end, you silence the end. You say à demain. À demain. Then the person will say in return à demain. That means see you tomorrow. Again, let me repeat. Je vais répéter. À demain. À demain means see you tomorrow. Now let's move down a little bit. See you next week. The week has ended. The week ends with Saturday. You have concluded your class or a work for the week. You are not going to see until the next week. So what do you say? À la semaine prochaine. À la semaine prochaine. Last week we learned the word semaine. Semaine means week. So you can say à la semaine prochaine. But again, if you don't want to use a semaine, that's the literal translation of saying see you next week, you can just say à la prochaine, because prochaine means it's next week. See you next week. But it's advisable you just use the à la semaine prochaine. That's the literal translation. See you next week. See you next week, à la prochaine. Let's quickly go back to those polite forms of greetings that we have just learned. Welcome means in French, bienvenue, bienvenue. Goodbye means au revoir, au revoir. See you soon, see you soon. À bientôt, à bientôt. Then safe journey, when one is traveling, you say bon voyage, bon voyage. See you tomorrow, see you tomorrow means in French, à demain, à demain. The next one, see you next week. See you next week, you say in French, à la semaine prochaine, à la semaine prochaine. Let's go up again. I'm sure we have all learned and understood what we have on the board. So if we have done that, I will urge us to put into practice all these polite greetings that we have learned. Now let's move forward. With all this, we have now come to the end of today's class of Module 5. Please do me a favor to always drop your questions and comments on our YouTube channels for swift answers and evaluation on our progress so far in learning the French language. Because learning, as we all know, is a process. And if you don't drop your questions or your comments, we will not be able to know how far we have gone. So I take that in French for the sake of those who already know how to speak French but are following us on this programme, French class for beginners. Avec tout cela, nous sommes maintenant arrivés à la fin du cours aujourd'hui du module 5. Je vous prie de bien vouloir toujours poser vos questions et laisser vos commentaires sur la chaîne YouTube afin d'obtenir des réponses rapides et une évaluation de nos progrès jusqu'à présent dans l'apprentissage de la langue française. That's exactly what I've said in French. Donc, au revoir. This is the midday news coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. I am Felicia Michael Dunka. Thank you for watching. The headlines. Tinubu holds Plateau leaders. Secure Unity Relief Peace Plan approves 2 billion naira relief. APC consensus in crisis. Xenophobia, Nigerians to return home as South African attacks worsen. Military junta killed journalist Bagaudu, Kauta, Kaduna government. Benue head of service Ode dies. Police snap 4 suspected cattle rustlers, recovers cow. Midnight fire got Sokoto NLC secretariat after May Day. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's high-level meeting with Plateau stakeholders in Abuja has begun yielding tangible results, including commitments on security relief funding and a landmark political reconciliation. A major highlight was the first ever gathering of all living former governors of Plateau State, which Governor Caleb Mutfwang described as a significant step toward lasting peace in the state. The meeting at the presidential villa brought together key figures such as Simon Lalong, Jonah Jang, Joshua Darie, and Fidelis Tabun, alongside traditional rulers and other stakeholders. Their conventions marked a rare show of unity in a state long affected by political and communal tensions. Beyond the symbolism, the engagement produced concrete outcomes, including the approval of 2 billion naira in relief for victims of the March 29 attack in Angwarukubu, not just North. The president also pledged decisive action on security, vowing to deploy federal authority against individuals identified as sponsors or investigators of violence in Plateau State. The ruling All Progressive Congress APC is facing growing internal crisis across several states over its plan to adopt a consensus method for selecting candidates ahead of the 2027 elections. Although the Electoral Act 2026 allows only consensus or direct primaries, the party prefers consensus because it is less costly and easier to manage. However, the approach has sparked tension as many aspirants insist on open context and resist what they see as imposed candidates. The situation has been worsened by governors who are leveraging the consensus option to endorse their preferred successors. Some have taken these candidates to meet Bola Ahmed Tinubu, using such appearances to signal presidential backing and discourage opposition within the party. This has reportedly led some aspirants to withdraw, unwilling to challenge what appears to be decisions already endorsed by party leadership. Despite the party's position that direct primaries should be held where consensus fails, disagreements persist and divisions are deepening. The directive by Bola Ahmed Tinubu for governors to oversee primaries in their states has further strengthened their influence, intensifying disputes and raising concerns about fairness and internal democracy within the APC ahead of the 2027 general elections. And amidst rising unrest in South Africa, the Nigerian consulate, in collaboration with the Nigerian Citizens Association in South Africa, has offered free repatriating flights to Nigerians willing to return home permanently. According to NICASA President Frank Onyekwelu, many Nigerians have already indicated interest as insecurity has forced several to shut down their businesses. Violent anti-foreigners protests have spread across cities such as Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Durban, as well as parts of KwaZulu-Natal. The unrest has led to looting, harassment, and injuries, forcing many Nigerians to remain indoors in fear as their safety, livelihood, and mental well-being are increasingly threatened. The protests are driven by groups such as Operation Dudula, which blame migrants for economic hardship and crime while demanding deportations. In response, The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has urged Nigerian business owners to shut down temporarily, while authorities confirmed that 2 Nigerians were killed in separate attacks linked to the violence. Governor Obasani has said that journalist Bagadu Kautha was killed by the military junta during Nigeria's military era. Kautha disappeared between 1996 and 1997 under the regime of Sani Abacha, and his case has remained controversial, with repeated calls for a thorough investigation. In 2024, a federal high court in Abuja ordered the government to investigate and prosecute the killers of journalists between 1986 and 2023, including Kautha. Further recognition came in 2025 when Bola Ahmed Tinubu conferred on him a Portsmouth's National Honor, Officer of the Order of the Niger, which his family described as a vindication of his legacy. Speaking during a presidential media tour in Kaduna, Sani said Kautha was killed after attending a meeting with pro-democracy activists, highlighting the risk faced by journalists under the military rule. He added that several media professionals lost their lives during that period, citing Kautha and Dele Giwa as notable examples. The Benue State government has announced the death of its head of service, Agbobo Ode, who passed away on May 2nd, 2026, after a brief illness. The confirmation was conveyed in a statement by Chief Press Secretary Sakula Teso, quoting the Secretary to the State Government, Deborah Serumum. The government described the late Ode as an accomplished technocrat and a respected figure in the public service, noting that his death is a significant loss to the state. It highlighted his dedication, professionalism, and lasting contribution to the development of the civil service in Benue State. The administration also extended condolences to his family, colleagues, and the wider civil service community, praying for the repose of his soul and acknowledging the impact of his service to the state. Still on security matters, the Katsina State Police arrested 4 suspected and recovered 18 stolen cows in Funtua local government area, following intelligence-led operations aimed at boosting vigilance in high-risk areas. The arrest occurred on April 29th when officers intercepted suspects transporting the stolen livestock. In a separate incident, armed bandits attacked villages in Kankia local government area, stealing an unspecified number of cattle. Police from Kankia and Karanchi were mobilized to the scene to address the attack and pursue the suspects. These actions are part of an ongoing crackdown against livestock theft authorized by new police directives. The suspects are currently in custody pending further investigations. The incident has renewed concerns about Nigeria's fragile power infrastructure, with stakeholders warning that persistent electricity fluctuation and poor grid management continue to endanger lives and property across the country. Many have called for urgent reforms to prevent similar disasters in public and private facilities. As investigations begin into the cause of the fire, labor leaders and concerned citizens are demanding a thorough and transparent probe. They insist that those responsible, if any negligence is found, should be held accountable to prevent a repeat of such incidents. There are also growing appeals for immediate government intervention to support the rebuilding of the damaged secretariat and to restore union activities in Sokoto State. Stakeholders say swift action is needed to cushion the impacts on workers and ensure normal administrative operations to resume quickly. And that wraps up today's Midday News. Let's stay tuned for our next program on Sports with Evel Sunday.
I want us to watch this video and find out the real meaning when they say dignity of labor. Let's watch the video.
To bulo ne dai wannan na tuwon masara. Kungiya a dauka a buga. Biki ne na ba su buga aikin bulo ba.
We want some.
Give me that too. Let me eat.
I want
Those who appreciate, natural things and real people.
Gentleman and lady,
Yes.
this is the height of creativity, isn't it?
Yes, this is dignity.
awesome.
The man is proud of his job. He's an artisan, what we call bricklayer here. And that man you are looking at.
And did it on his wedding day to
tell the
entertain his
father-in-law,
guests.
I'm a bricklayer. I'm coming to marry your daughter.
So give her to me.
And that brings me to, let me tell you something. I met a boy that was undergoing apprenticeship in a mechanical apprentice in Apo. I said, oh, God, I go like be like you. I said, how why? See you now for radio station and everybody hear your voice. I said, but you with the mechanic, they see money pass you. He said, okay, that thing you go. I don't want to call the name of the companies. And I call one of those Charlie. I said, you know, he's a mechanic. What do you call mechanic? Is the difference between you and him is branding. If you have money, you can build a standard workshop and then even have 24 hours mechanics that will fix cars. People can come 2 a.m. to even service their cars. And then we have those such things.
Taking it to the next level.
To the next level. And guys looked at me and said, so forget. And I discovered that every job is done by two sets of people. A poor man
And a rich man.
and a rich man. Do you know this recharge card you are sending? One of the richest men in Abuja is a recharge card seller. You know him, Dumpy?
No.
For you to load any paper. He was the one that brought the idea of paper recharge card. Paper. Before it was thick carton.
That costs so much to print.
You know what? Your head. Now paper.
Paper.
At first it sounded like a joke. Every other company has copied it. That man, for you to load every paper, those communication companies pay him #1.
So he makes cool money.
I've seen him in private drop your comfort zone. First, bury your comfort zone. Like I was telling them, they said, look, someone like me cannot be hungry because I can do taxi. I will play drums. As long as I put food on my table. In fact, when I lost my job in the banking industry, the first job I did was to be driving car. When you want to relocate, doctors that used to relocate, I said, I can drive interstate. I will drive from here, go and drop your car, you fly. For those that want to travel, I did these things. When families that want to relocate, go for holidays 3 weeks in East, I'll tell my wife, they pay me 200,000 naira. I will drive them to their village, wait 1 week, drive them back. Because I don't want to tell story. I was a graduate. It's only when I'm talking, the mom like, wow, you're intelligent. I say, yes.
Okay, so whose responsibility is it to instill this dignity of labor?
The person whose responsibility, like I said, their own dignity has been eroded, and that's the teacher. So, I mean, everything will rise and fall on, the parents.
Parents first.
Are they not the ones who demoralize?
Yes. When
And
you want to
degrade
child noodles,
teacher.
and there must be egg. It starts from there. Yesterday, what am I saying? Before yesterday, I went to, when I entered, within 2 seconds, I just looked at my house, I just browsed everywhere. I saw the way my daughter was lying down. I knew she was not happy. I looked at her, I said, why are you lying down like this? You're not happy. I'm hungry. I said, in my house? How? He said, Mommy said we must eat eba. So as a father, we have soft spots for daughters. And that's why I like my wife. I said, Papa, okay, which soup vegetables? I said, I don't like vegetables when it's old. When it is fresh.
You can imagine, children with choice.
Wow. In my mind, I was asking myself, when did I even know what is fresh? So I went in and said, Mama, sweetheart, hey, these are my daughters. Give them what they want. He said, no way. I said, no way.
Either they eat?
Either they eat or they go and sleep with hunger. I wanted to do the man of the house. I said,
Not here.
So don't come and do this, use this father sentiment and spoil this marriage on me. And I remember, am I the one talking the voices?
And you're here doing the opposite.
I said, no. I said, you know what else would be the fridge? I said, go and want but it's ever.
But with
So
differences.
it starts from there. A lot of us are suffering a lot of things because of bad parenting, which we're supposed to talk about today, but we decide to let. Whether I like it or not, because when you make your child believe all is well,
Sense
life
of
is
entitlement.
and entitlement, and you are training a child in a country and an economy that is not ready for him.
So now that we've said we've lost our values, our system is collapsing, yet the people who are supposed to shape the system, instill these values in us, are the teachers. And they are the worst profession today in this country. And if we want to get those values back, and we want to even talk about welfare and the right people to give the welfare, shouldn't we shift completely to the educational sector?
What is the standard of education now? Let's start from there. Those days, teachers could discipline a child. Can you discipline a child now?
No.
You know, everything, you see, what fits you in Nigeria will not fit in the US. I have a father figure in my estate that told me when I was hustling to travel to Canada, I said, don't try it. I said, well, he said, this is your beautiful daughter, you're going to lose them. The way they think, the way they talk, the way they do things. Train them here, let them get to a particular age, then they cannot go. I said, okay. I said, why? He said, do you see my house empty? None of my children want to come to Nigeria. They're all talking trash. Nobody wants to come to this country anymore. Everybody's behaving the way he or she likes. He has lost his children. He doesn't want me to. 74 years old man was telling me this. 74. Now, what am I trying to say? We should understand that whatever works in Nigeria is different. If there's peculiarity of environment, people should understand that teaching here we are permitted to beat our child. We are permitted. You see, my sister is in Nigeria now with her children. Whereas when you visit international airport, you see go and watch out. When you see this international aircraft land, you see a particular parent will drag a child into the bedroom. He has been gathering that and start beating them. Yes. And you see these foreign countries, is it working for them now? No, is it working for them now?
Okay. So let me allow Vicky to chip in. Yeah.
No, I don't think that, well, for me, I differ on the area of beating. So
Okay.
let me not even come in.
You are one of those that grew up there and I was not beating me. I was beaten from head.
Yeah, I got beaten and I think that was a wrong approach. Total wrong approach. There are different ways to discipline people. You know,
Okay.
I got beaten and I don't beat people. I would not even touch anybody. So like I said, I'm the wrong person to talk on the area of discipline.
Okay, so let's go back to
on the area.
Yeah.
And the
I
other
like
area,
the fact that you admitted that you're the wrong person to talk about. Yeah, from even when you tarnish my show, I don't worry. We know. We were beating 1 a.m. in the morning and we have sense today.
Are you saying she doesn't have sense?
No, I don't know. No, sense suitable for my country.
Okay.
Remember what I said? There are things that are suitable for a particular environment. Here in Nigeria, discipline is suitable. We should stop copying what is not
Okay, so
suitable.
let's talk about discipline in workplace. Because this whole issue of welfare, environment, that all boils down to discipline. Doesn't?
Yes.
Nah, I'm talking to Vicky. Does it?
right? Yeah. Well, discipline in the workplace, not just discipline, but also welfare. Since today is Workers' Day, and we're trying to look at, the improvement of the life of the lifetime of workers. There should be a minimum standard. That is what has set out places like that's what's making Nigerians want to japa. You are not going to want to japa for yourself from frying pan into the fire. You don't want to go from hellfire into what's the other place called? Lake of fire, as they say in the Bible. So, what you're trying to do is to get to a better system. So what we want is a system where you know that unfailingly, no matter how bad it gets, there's going to be probably a standard roof over your head, or there's going to be, some form of healthy living.
Who is going to force the politicians to create this environment?
We are. The day we're totally tired of and fed up with what is going on with us, we are going to force them.
And when will that be?
We are waiting for a Godot. But the day we're totally fed up, we're going to. Because as it is now, we cannot continue with this dichotomy. Every good thing is to go for the people in government. The rest, anyhow you can do it is yourself. That's why we have people so religious. It's not as if we really believe so much in God than other people, but it's like a last hope, which shouldn't be. You should be able to tell your leader, listen, you ought to, the first thing that should happen to me when I turn on my tap is that water should come out. But no, you go to a place, I want to get a place, I want to, rent a house. Was there borehole? What? And putting borehole is even bad for the topography of the place.
Of course.
A very good afternoon and welcome to the voices coming to you from Politics and Business TV right here in the nation's capital. Happy Workers' Day. I have a full house in the house, and for those of you who will say, why are they dressed like that? Don't forget, today is Workers' Day. Happy Workers' Day, Nigerian. Happy Workers' Day, dear colleagues.
Yes.
We want to say happy Workers' Day for us, you say.
Ladies first.
The ladies first.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, happy Workers' Day and happy to be on your program today. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, it's May 1st and that is the day when we all gather to celebrate the dignity of labor and the hardworking, enterprising and free-spirited Nigerians who are out there trying to do what they do best to get their daily bread.
Yes.
Well, I will differ from you a bit. Happy Workers' Day. Well, I don't think there's anything highly spirited because when I go deeper, you will know why I'm not highly spirited because the looming economic hardship is not making workers to smile. I'm not smiling.
Okay.
In as much as I'm wearing agbada today, I'm not smiling. Anyway, however, thank God it's Workers' Day, May 1st. Either way, we just
so every first day of May is a stark reminder of the struggles of workers across the world and Nigeria. So while we celebrate the workers in their offices who sit under the AC and who speak big English, let us also celebrate the everyday Nigerian, the one who eke out a living under the sun, under the moon,
the artisans,
the one that the economic policy hits directly before he even understands it. So let us celebrate those people who have been able to train their children without anybody's effort, without any government support, who have produced doctors, lawyers, whatever you can think of. These are the people who say Happy Workers' Day. May your labor never go in vain.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. So let's go straight to this year's theme. Let me start from Mickey. This year's theme is also looking at this insecurity. Unfortunately, 2026. Year 2030 is supposed to be the year where sustainable development goals are supposed to be achieved, because we shifted it from 2020 to 2025 and now to 2030. And here we are talking about insecurity.
Yeah, well, for the Sustainable Development Goals, for me, it's always been a heartbreaking topic to examine for the mere reason that even when we had the Millennium Development Goals, we didn't achieve even one single one of them. How can we be sustaining what we didn't maintain? So I find that a little bit heartbreaking. However, that being said, okay, if we push us to sustaining, what we're just struggling to meet up with up to 2030, behold, we're already in 2026. So what's going to be, exactly. What's the benchmark? What's the margin? As it is now in Nigeria, the insecurity is not something anybody can be political about. Whatever side of the divide you're on, whether you are in government, whether you're the president, you will admit that there is insecurity in this problem. Not just in this country, not just insecurity, but at an alarming dimension. So it's reached a point where Nigerians are finding it very difficult to, go to bed with both eyes closed. It's horrible for you to travel. You're worried, you're disturbed, you're like, oh, I hope I don't get kidnapped. In just a short distance, maybe between where we are in the federal capital, even to Kaduna. So with this at the back of a worker's mind, you understand, there's already, like I said, the psychosocial impact of insecurity on workers is what this year's theme is also trying to examine. So let's look
at what the theme rightly said.
The theme says, insecurity and poverty, bane of please help me.
Okay.
Insecurity.
very effective worker.
All right. Insecurity. Yes. Poverty.
What do you make of the theme? Did it rightly capture the moment?
Absolutely. I think it did. Both it's a two-pronged, perfectly aimed should I call it a part of a fork, because poverty combined with insecurity will not bring effective workmanship. No.
Why is it that before I come to the man,
Yes.
so let me come to you.
Yes.
Why is it that every time we say workers in Nigeria, we only look at the man? We don't look at the labor of the woman.
Okay, you're trying to go gender.
Yes, because you are the only one standing here. Because we only say Happy Workers Day, and then the people we see here are more of men, and they will show men who turn big machines and all of that. They didn't show the mama put, who every morning she has to feed many people. She has to be the source of breakfast or lunch or dinner
The
for
whole
many,
family.
for the whole family.
Okay, originally, let me go by, the word originally. And originally in the sense that even from the holy books, when God was trying to assign responsibility, he was clear about the position of a man. A man should till the soil, not a woman.
So today women are tilling this one.
Yeah, women till, I'm not saying a woman cannot, but a woman will not go to the extent a man will go. Like I always told you that you have a man's word and a woman's word. If you switch, you come back with whatever is inside. A woman cannot go extreme to a man's word and become a woman anymore. She become an alpha woman. A man can also go. That's why when you behave in a particular way, they say you look at you behave like a woman and you do like a man. So let's get that straight. So the instructions were clear ab initio for operation.
All right. So let's go to what the president said. The Nigerian Labour Congress president.
Yes, Joe Ajero.
What did he say today?
Now,
I'm sure a lot of people who are there.
He was criticizing, of course, in his statement. Look at it there. He said government, was criticizing government about the untold rising cost of economic hardship, and that even 1 million naira
Today
is meaningless and baseless to any worker when the naira is not stable. So, they gave some instances about the fuel, even though some people said, okay, our fuel is one of the cheapest. And he said, no, what is the cost or what is the minimum wage for a worker in those countries? Citing America, Canada, and the rest of them. That, okay, we still buy within the range of 1.2 to 1.4. But those countries buy for 1.8 in terms of naira. So our fuel seems to be cheaper. And he said, no, it's not, because what's the minimum wage of an average worker here? So even though they pay a worker 1 million naira, what's the value of 1 million naira in the market? So the rising economic hardship is not, it's affecting the value of whatever the worker earns. So there's more or less no dignity in labor here. So that's what he's trying to make us. And the government should rise to the occasion by stepping up to see that the workers' welfare, they are all intact.
Mickey, every year, this celebration just seems to be symbolic. And so many speeches.
And ceremonial.
All centered around the welfare of the worker. And after the march past, the jamboree, the uniform,
ceremonies,
the crowd, the cheering, and all of that, workers go back to the same state. Is that this day doesn't pose a kind of reflection for those who are supposed the policymakers themselves?
Right. I really like that question, because for a Nigerian now, what the Workers' Day is, thank God I'm going to have a public holiday. Except hardworking people like us that do not observe public holidays.
And we're not having.
We're not having.
We're working.
We're working hard. But I mean, so the whole essence of it is lost. It's just the empty shell of it now is what is there. For instance, like you rightly pointed out, by the end of the day, we'll have the speeches, being given by the administration about workers' welfare and all that. But if you look at the practical implementation, it's going to be the welfare of the politicians. Their welfare is always steadily being on the upswing. For instance, now, can you imagine now, as a civil servant, you must work, the law is you must work for a minimum of 10 years. 10 years unbroken service will lead you to gratuity and pension. But in the public area, you can go for a 4-year term, maybe a maximum 2 4-year terms, which is 8, 2 years less than what is statutorily allowed, and you have a jumbo package as a former governor. Meanwhile, while you were there, all the muchi was already, flowing in. So why are you still then going for this jumbo pension, which ideally shouldn't be there? Okay, that being the case, if you are collecting a jumbo pension, at least let the others have pension. Remove jumbo. But even then, you from state to blessed state, if you see how they're owing workers, you begin to wonder, didn't federal allocation drop? So these are the kind of things that should be addressed. Today, I want to promise you that from May 2026 onwards, backlog of your gratuity or pensions will be paid in full, something, to at least to cushion the suffering. And like he was talking about the minimum wage, that's another really gray area, because as it is now, nobody would not be able to say that, look, the inflation is biting really hard. So to cushion this, instead of that, then give the workers maybe a house. Make sure that from grade level this or that upward, you're definitely going to be accommodated, which was how it was before in the civil service. Good afternoon. Welcome to The World in 30 Minutes on Politics and Business Television. I am Mickey Atta. Many thanks for joining us. And now the headlines. Russia hammers targets across Ukraine overnight. Oil prices rise again with little sign of war on Iran ending. More than 40 Iranian seafarers killed during US-Israeli war. And man charged with attempted murder after knife attacks in London declared terror incident. Billions of meals at risk due to Iran war, says fertilizer boss. You're welcome back, and now details of the news. Russian forces launched a large-scale drone attack on Israel overnight into Friday, with President Volodymyr Zelensky reporting that around 210 strike drones were deployed, including approximately 140 Iranian-made Shahed drones. The attacks caused damage across multiple regions, including Ukraine's southern Odessa region, where port infrastructure was hit and at least 2 people were injured. Regional officials said 2 high-rise residential buildings in Osama were destroyed, with apartment buildings and fires breaking out as an emergency service responded. In the Black Sea port city, Governor Ole Kipper confirmed ongoing assistance for victims following the strikes. Separately, the shipbuilding city of Mykolaiv was also targeted, with Mayor Olansker reporting drone attacks on the city. The latest wave of strikes continues a pattern of intensified aerial attacks across Ukrainian territory. Oil prices have surged sharply as tensions surrounding the Iran conflict continue with no resolution in sight. Brent crude, the global benchmark, rose to $111.29 per barrel on Friday morning, up from around $65 before the US and Israel began strikes on Iran on February 28. The benchmark is set for a weekly gain of about 5.7%, reflecting ongoing market fears over supply disruptions. Earlier, Brent futures for June briefly climbed to $1.2641 per barrel before expiry. That's the highest level since March 2022, according to market reports. The spike has been driven by continued instability around the Strait of Hormuz, where Iran has maintained restrictions on shipping, while U.S. naval forces are reportedly blocking Iranian ports and crude exports. Although a Pakistan-brokered ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran has been in place since April 8 to allow for negotiations, progress remains slow. Iran's foreign ministry said expectations for a quick diplomatic breakthrough are unrealistic, signaling that tensions may persist and keep energy markets volatile. At least 44 Iranian seafarers have been killed and 29 others injured since the start of the United States-Israel war on Iran. That's according to the head of Iran's Merchant Mariners Syndicate, IMMS. The General Secretary, Saman Razal, said the fatalities include 22 civilian sailors, 16 fishermen, 6 dock workers, who were all killed between February 28 and April 1. Razal said the figures were compiled from Iran's Ports and Marines Organization as well as union records, though they have not been independently verified. He also stated that 9 seafarers are missing and that the union has filed multiple complaints to the United Nations International Maritime Organization, alleging responsibility lies with the US and Israeli strikes on Iranian ports and commercial shipping. The IMMS, affiliated with the International Transport Workers Federation, has been providing humanitarian assistance to affected maritime workers. Meanwhile, a US-Iran ceasefire has been in place since April 8, but tensions remain high following a reported US naval blockade of Iranian ports from April 13, aimed at restricting oil exports and pressuring Tehran over the Strait of Hormuz, which remains largely disrupted. A man has appeared in court charged with attempted murder following a series of knife attacks in North and South London on Wednesday that left 2 Jewish men seriously injured. Essa Suleiman, 45, is accused of stabbing Shlomo Rond, 34, and Moshe Shine, 76, in Golders Green, as well as attempting to murder Ismail Hussein in an early attack at a flat in Southwark the same day. Suleiman also faces a charge of possessing a knife in a public place. Suleiman, a British citizen born in Somalia and brought to the UK in the early 1990s, had been a patient at the South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust. The case has been sent to the Old Bailey with a preliminary hearing scheduled for 15th May, and he remains in custody. Following the incident, the UK terror threat level was raised to severe, although officials said this decision was not solely due to the attacks. Disruption to fertilizer supplies caused by conflict in Iran and blocked shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz could threaten global food production, according to the CEO of Yara, Sven Tore Holsether, one of the world's largest fertilizer producers. He warned that the situation could affect the equivalent of up to 10 billion meals a week worldwide, with the poorest countries expected to be hit hardest. Holsether said reduced access to fertilizer would lower crop yields significantly, potentially by as much as 50% for some crops in the first season. He added that this could trigger competition for food supplies and lead to higher global prices. While the UK is unlikely to face direct food shortages, he cautioned that rising production costs are expected to filter through to consumers in the coming months. He urged European countries to consider the impact of global price pressures on vulnerable populations. Still to come, woman killed, children injured as Israel attacks Lebanon. Stay with us. Welcome back. A woman was killed and several children injured during the latest Israeli attacks in Lebanon, with civilians reported to make up the majority of casualties over the past 24 hours. The strikes come amid renewed exchange of fire between Israel and Hezbollah. The Israeli military says it hit about 40 Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon on Friday as part of ongoing airstrikes. Hezbollah, in turn, said it carried out retaliatory attacks against Israeli forces operating inside Lebanese territory. According to reports from Al Jazeera, the campaign in southern Lebanon has intensified, with activists and observers alleging widespread destruction of civilian homes, infrastructure, and water systems in border villages. Human rights groups have described the damage as potentially amounting to war crimes, while tens of thousands of residents have been affected by the continued fighting. And that wraps up the program. But just before we go, the headlines once again. Russia hammers targets across Ukraine overnight. Oil prices rise again with little sign of war on Iran ending. More than 40 Iranian seafarers killed during US-Israeli war. Man charged with attempted murder after knife attacks in London declared terror incident. Billions of meals at risk due to Iran war, says fertilizer boss. And woman killed, children injured as Israel attacks Lebanon. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our next program. Fahimta Musulumchi. Please stay on for the next program.
Good afternoon. This is News Updates. I'm Felicia Michael Dunca. The news in details. There is growing political tension among supporters of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, in Rivers State, following the purchase of All Progressive Congress APC nomination and expression of interest forms for Governor Siminalayi Fubara ahead of the 2027 elections. Earlier reports suggested that Wike, a key figure in the People's Democratic Party (PDP), had endorsed Honorable Kingsley Chinda, who represents Obio Akwa Federal Constituency, as his preferred candidate. However, this position was challenged when Honorable Awaji Inompek Adiente of Indonu Omopon Nkoru Federal Constituency, alongside other stakeholders, including the Rivers State Commissioner for Education, Honorable Tamuno Sisi Gogo Jaja, and members of the Rivers Elders Forum purchased nomination forms for Governor Fubara. The group said the move reflects the yearnings and aspirations of Rivers people for continuity, arguing that Fubara should be supported for a second term based on his performance. They also expressed support for his re-election on the APC platforms, as well as backing for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second term bid, citing the need to continue ongoing reforms in the state and at the national level. Senator Kakashehu Lawan has withdrawn from the Borno State governorship race ahead of the 2027 elections, clearing the path for Mustapha Gubio to emerge as the All Progressive Congress APC candidate. The decision followed extensive consultations and intervention led by Vice President Kashim Shettima and other stakeholders in the state. According to a statement, the move was taken in the interest of party unity, describing it as necessary for sustaining peace and democratic stability in Borno State. The development was finalized at a high-level meeting held on Thursday night and chaired by Vice President Shettima. The meeting was attended by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, former Governor Maina Maaji Lawal, Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafur APC, Deputy National Chairman Ali Bukar Dalori, Senators Muhammad Tahir Manguno, and Muhammad Ali Indumi, Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly, Abdul Karim Lawal, Minister of Agriculture Abubakar Kyari, and other prominent political figures. The Commissioner of Police in Plateau State, CP Basi Iwa, has disclosed that the command recorded 64 cases of rape and defilement since he assumed office in February 2026. He made the revelation on Friday while parading 18 suspects arrested for offenses including rape, homicide, illegal arms possession, and cultism at the command headquarters in Jos. He warned against attempts to settle sexual offense cases privately, stressing that such crimes are not family matters but serious criminal offenses. Ewa said the command remains committed to accountability and ensuring Plateau State does not become a safe haven for criminals. He noted that sexual offenses featured prominently among recent arrests, with several disturbing cases under investigation across different parts of the state. He cited cases including an 18-year-old suspect arrested in Panshin for allegedly assaulting a 1-year-old child, a 19-year-old in Jos accused of repeatedly abusing a 7-year-old girl, and a 40-year-old man in Nasaragon allegedly abusing his niece over several years. He added that another suspect was arrested in Jos for allegedly assaulting a 17-year-old girl, assuring that all cases will be prosecuted. And to security matters, the security sources said investigations are ongoing to identify and track other members of the group behind the incident. They added that steps are also being taken to prevent any reprisal attacks or further security breaches in the area. Authorities assured residents that security operations have been intensified to restore calm and maintain stability. They noted that surveillance and intelligence gathering have been strengthened to cope for the threats and improve rapid response. Officials urge the public to remain calm and cooperate with security agencies as efforts continue to ensure lasting peace in the affected communities. And that wraps up this news update. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for Around the World in 30 minutes at 3:30 p.m. Good afternoon, this is News Update. I am Felicia Michael Dunker. Now the news in details. Nigerian workers are marking this year's day's celebration with anxiety, frustration, and economic pressure as rising insecurity is deepening poverty continue to erode living standards across sectors. Many say the promise of improved livelihoods remains distant, with wages increasingly unable to meet the rising cost of food, transportation, and energy, while concerns over safety and job security persist. Labour leaders have warned that current economic reforms have yet to deliver tangible relief, describing a system under strain. Nigerian Labour Congress President Joe Ajaero highlighted the growing impact of insecurity, unemployment, and the dominance of informal jobs, which account for about 90% of employment and often lack basic protections. Similarly, electricity workers, through NUE Acting General Secretary Dominic Ipebi, described challenges such as poor pay, job insecurity, unsafe working conditions, and the effects of inflation and currency weakness. At a pre-May Day lecture, development expert Dr. Toyin Olawumi cautioned that worsening poverty and insecurity are pushing Nigeria towards a critical tipping point, threatening economic stability and decent work. He stressed that insecurity now poses a direct economic risk, disrupting farming, trade, and essential services, while compounding the multiple financial and psychological burdens already facing Nigerian workers. The Supreme Court has restored David Mark-led executive of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), bringing relief after weeks of internal leadership crisis within the party. In a unanimous decision delivered by a 5-member panel led by Justice Muhammad Lawal Garba, the Appeals Court set aside the Court of Appeals. Please, let's take a short break. We shall be back soon. 5-member panel led by Justice Muhammad Lawal Garba, the Appeals Court set aside the Court of Appeals earlier order maintaining the status quo antebellum in the dispute. The controversy had escalated after the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), relying on the Appellate Court's order, removed the names of the MAC-led leadership from its portal and declined to recognize communications from either faction pending the case's resolution. The suit was initiated by Nephew Balla Gumbe, who can challenge the legality of the party's leadership, including MAC and National Secretary Rauf Aregbesola. In its ruling, the Supreme Court held the Court of Appeals order was unnecessary, having dismissed the appeal challenging the Federal High Court jurisdiction as incompetent. The court directed all parties to return to the Federal High Court for continuation of the case, while news of the judgment sparked celebrations among party members. Honorable Samuel Danlami, a member of the House of Representatives representing Katsina Central Federal Constituency, has lodged his bid to secure the All Progressive Congress (APC) ticket for the 2027 general elections. The party stakeholders reportedly settled for Abba Mangal, a legal practitioner and son of billionaire businessman Dahiru Mangal, as the consensus candidate. Danlami, who is serving his second term in the Green Chamber, was edged out after 2 days of consultation and intense negotiations among party leaders, aspirants, and political stakeholders. Other contenders in the race included Lawal Ahmadu Joka, Haruna Mewada, Ibrahim Ali Gugua, and Honorable Abdurrashid Abba. The emergence of Abba Mangal, who did not publicly declare interest in the race, has sparked political discussions within the constituency. Danlami has accepted the outcome and urged his supporters to remain calm as attention now shifts to how the APC manages internal unity ahead of the 2027 elections in Katsina State. And that wraps up this news update. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for another news update at 3 p.m.
Very good afternoon and welcome to the voices coming to you from Politics and Business TV right here in the nation's capital. Happy Workers' Day. I have a full house in the house, and for those of you who will say, why are they dressed like that? Don't forget, today is Workers' Day. Happy Workers' Day, Nigerian. Happy Workers' Day, dear colleagues.
Yes. We want to say happy Workers' Day for us, you say.
Ladies first.
The ladies first.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, happy Workers' Day and happy to be on your program today. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, it's May 1st and that is the day when we all gather to celebrate the dignity of labor and the hardworking, enterprising, and free-spirited Nigerians who are out there trying to do what they do best to get their daily bread.
Yes.
Well, I will differ from you a bit. Happy Workers' Day. Well, I don't think there's anything highly spirited because when I go deeper, you will know why I'm not highly spirited because the looming economic hardship is not making workers to smile. I'm not smiling.
Okay.
In as much as I'm wearing agbada today, I'm not smiling. Anyway, however, thank God it's Workers' Day, May 1st. Either way, we just
Yes. So every first day of May is a stark reminder of the struggles of workers across the world and Nigeria. So while we celebrate the workers in their offices who sit under the AC and who speak big English, let us also celebrate the everyday Nigerian, the one who eke out a living under the sun, under the moon,
the artisans,
the one that the economic policy hits directly before he even understands it. So let us celebrate those people who have been able to train their children without anybody's effort, without any government support, who have produced doctors, lawyers, whatever you can think of. These are the people who say Happy Workers' Day. May your labor never go in vain.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. So let's go straight to this year's theme. Let me start from Mickey. This year's theme is also looking at this insecurity. Unfortunately, 2026 till 2030 is supposed to be the year where sustainable development goals are supposed to be achieved, because we shifted it from 2020 to 2025 and now to 2030. And here we are talking about insecurity.
Yeah, well, for the Sustainable Development Goals, for me, it's always been a heartbreaking topic to examine, for the mere reason that even when we had the Millennium Development Goals, we didn't achieve even one single one of them. How can we be sustaining what we didn't maintain? So I find that a little bit heartbreaking. However, that being said, okay, if we push us to sustaining, you know, what we're just struggling to meet up with up to 2030, behold, we're already in 2026. So what's going to be, yeah, exactly. What's the benchmark? What's the margin? As it is now in Nigeria, the insecurity is not something anybody can be political about. Whatever side of the divide you're on, whether you are in government, whether you're the president, you will admit that there is insecurity in this problem. Not just in this country, not just insecurity, but at an alarming dimension. So it's reached a point where Nigerians are finding it very difficult to, you know, go to bed with both eyes closed. It's horrible for you to travel. You're worried, you're disturbed, you're like, oh, I hope I don't get kidnapped. In just a short distance, maybe between where we are in the federal capital, even to Kaduna. So with this at the back of a worker's mind, you understand, there's already, like I said, the psychosocial impact of insecurity on workers is what this year's theme is also trying to examine.
So let's look at what the theme rightly said.
The theme says insecurity and poverty. Bane of please help me. Insecurity.
Very effective worker.
All right, insecurity. Yes. Poverty.
What do you make of the theme? Is it rightly, did it rightly capture the moment?
Absolutely. I think it did. Both it's a two-pronged, perfectly aimed should I call it a part of a fork, because poverty combined with insecurity will not bring effective workmanship. No.
Why is it that, before I come to the man, so let me come to you.
Yes.
Why is it that every time we say workers in Nigeria, we only look at the man? We don't look at the labor of the woman.
Okay, you're trying to go gender.
Yes, because you are the only man standing here, because we only say Happy Workers Day. And then the people we see here are more of men. And they will show men who turn big machines and all of that. They didn't show the mama put, who every morning she has to feed many people. She has to be the source of breakfast or lunch or dinner
for the whole family.
For the whole family.
Okay, originally, let me go by, the word originally. And originally in the sense that even from the holy books, when God was trying to assign responsibility, he was clear about the position of a man. A man should till the soil, not a woman.
So today women are tilling this one.
Yeah, women till. I'm not saying woman cannot, but a woman will not go to the extent a man will go. Like I always told you that you have a man's word and a woman's word. If you switch, you come back with whatever is inside. A woman cannot go extreme to a man's word and become a woman anymore. She become an alpha woman. A man cannot also go. That's why when you behave in a particular way, they say you behave like a woman and you do like a man. So let's get that straight. So the instructions were clear ab initio for operation.
All right. So let's go to what the president said. The Nigerian Labour Congress president.
Yes, Joe Ajero.
What did he say today?
Now,
I'm sure a lot of people who are there.
He was criticizing, of course, in his statement. Look at it there. He said government. Was criticizing government about the untold rising cost of economic hardship. And that even 1 million naira
today
is meaningless and baseless to any worker when the naira is not stable. So, they gave some instances about the fuel, even though some people said, okay, our fuel is one of the cheapest. And he said, no, what is the cost or what is the minimum wage for a worker in those countries? Citing America, Canada, and the rest of them. That okay, we're still buying within the range of 1.2 to 1.4, but those countries buy for 1.8 in terms of naira. So our fuel seems to be cheaper. And he said, no, it's not, because what's the minimum wage of an average worker here? So even though you pay a worker 1 million naira, what's the value of 1 million naira in the market? So the rising economic hardship is not, it's affecting the value of whatever the worker earns. So there's more or less no dignity in labor here. So that's what he's trying to make us. And the government should rise to the occasion by stepping up to see that workers' welfare, they are all intact.
Mickey, every year, this celebration just seems to be symbolic. And so many speeches.
And ceremonial.
All centered around the welfare of the worker. And after the march past, the jamboree, the uniform
ceremonies,
the crowd, the cheering, and all of that, workers go back to the same state. Is that this day doesn't pose a kind of reflection for those who are supposed the policymakers themselves?
Right. I really like that question, because for a Nigerian now, what the Workers' Day is thank God I'm going to have a public holiday. Except hardworking people like us
yes.
that do not observe public holidays.
And we're not having.
And we're not having.
We're working.
We're working hard. But I mean so the whole essence of it is lost. It's just the empty shell of it now is what is there. For instance, like you rightly pointed out, by the end of the day we'll have the speeches, being given by the administration about workers' welfare and all that. But if you look at the practical implementation, it's going to be the welfare of the politicians. Their welfare is always steadily being on the upswing. For instance, now, can you imagine now, as a civil servant, you must work, the laws, you must work for a minimum of 10 years. 10 years unbroken service will lead you to gratuity and pension. But in the public area, you can go for a 4-year term, maybe a maximum 2 4-year terms, which is 8, 2 years less than what is statutorily allowed, and you have a jumbo package as a former governor. Meanwhile, while you were there, all the muchi was already, flowing in. So why are you still then going for this jumbo pension, which ideally shouldn't be there? Okay, that being the case, if you are collecting a jumbo pension, at least let the others have pension. Remove jumbo. But even then, you find states to blessed states. If you see how they're owing workers, you begin to wonder, didn't federal allocation drop? So these are the kind of things that should be addressed. Today, I want to promise you that from May 2026 onwards, backlog of your gratuity or pensions will be paid in full. Something, to at least cushion the suffering. And like he was talking about the minimum wage, that's another really gray area. Because as it is now, nobody would not be able to say that, look, the inflation is biting really hard. So to cushion this, instead of that, then give the workers maybe a house. Make sure that from grade level this or that upward, you're definitely going to be accommodated, which was how it was before in the civil service. Give them maybe a plot of land unfailingly, develop it the way you can, which was how it was in the civil service. But now you remove all the mats that they're lying upon, and now making people to come to work, like you said, in total uncertainty. Uncertainty is beyond security. It's also about their working conditions. Because by the time you're going home, you're like, this is May. By December, I've got to pay rent. Or you can stagger the rent payment. All other countries pay monthly. Why is that yearly in a lump sum?
Okay, let me take a bit further.
But I want to add this to it. Now I want to add this to it.
Okay.
Workers themselves, are they being deliberate about their welfare? Because they will tell you, we control the economy. Because any day NLC decide to go on strike, it's a total shutdown. And it is one strike the government can't even joke with. Everybody is apprehensive. And you start hearing billions of naira are lost today, they are lost in this sector and all of that. But beyond coming there to march and voice our grievances, even their party, Labour Party, they can't even put up a party. A functional party that can challenge the status quo. They can't even do it. They tried it, it didn't work, and they all scattered it. So our Nigerian workers deliberate. Because workers in other climes, we see how they make every policy work, and they force you to make it work.
Now, it all boils down to part of what she's saying. You can't make policy on an empty stomach. You can't make anything work when you are not happy. When your welfare is in shambles. These things work interwoven, and that is why this also tells on, falls back to corruption. Because when people don't have what she said, then people have to go and steal. Any office you have been employed into, you steal money, you amass money, because you don't know the uncertainty. Check, for example, the Nigerian police force. Have you seen ex-policemen, retired policemen, going to beg to pay
them their pension?
Somebody that have served faithfully for 35 years. So now, if you are given the opportunity to man a particular position when you are going to see public funds, you would like to amass wealth because of this, because of these uncertainties we're talking about. So these are the reasons why policies don't work. Nobody's going in there for the loyalty of the country anymore. Everybody's going there for the loyalty of his stomach, and that is why workers cannot take anything. I told you, big companies in foreign countries that last over 400, 300 years. The reason why they do that is because the welfare of the company is commensurate to the welfare of the workers. So as the company is growing in terms of finance and everything, the staff is also growing like that. And that is being sensitive as, those who man their affairs. Same thing applicable to every forms of work, whether it is private or government.
Okay, Mickey, they said your pay is commensurate with your work. How effective you are also determines the results, that comes out of it. Can you say Nigerian workers today, especially workers in government agencies?
No, absolutely not. And then to crown it all, there's a disparity.
Annoying.
There's a very big disparity.
7,000 naira with this fuel. No, let them go with this fuel 1.4. You know how much is from Lugbe to this place? Now workers are no longer going Monday to Friday. Now let's do that.
I think once in a week. They come to work once in a week.
And then go there. Workers go and again, sometimes you over duplicated functions. In a place where you're supposed to have 10 people working, you employ 50 people and they go there to chew granite.
Or break egusi.
Carry their domestic work, bring it to the office and be doing it and be gisting, gossiping. Because people don't have what to do. Oh, the palm sec is from some part of the country, and the only way you can reward these people is to pack all these village people and put them. So when you go to a particular department or a particular section in civil service, you see everybody speaking one language, as if that is your extension. That's the extension of your village. So
how much of a destruction has tribalism and religious sentiment turned to Nigerian workforce?
That's it. You want to answer or you want to? that is
no, I want her to answer.
That's the area that I don't want to hear.
Me too. I don't want to handle that. But okay, well, I think it's eaten deep into the fabric of our national psyche, and it is the evidence is clear. It's very clear. It has backfired completely, because before we had Egyptians, we had Indians, we had a range of foreigners working here. Same way we had Nigerians. A Nigerian was, I think, the Attorney General of Gambia. A Nigerian was Attorney General in Trinidad and Tobago. There was cross-pollination.
The head of parliament in Canada.
A Nigerian. That one is even a Nigerian Canadian. I'm talking of people going from here there to go and work there, called out to work there. But as it is now, it's got to be, everything, it's the president Yoruba. Everybody's got to be Yoruba. How about the other tribes? So where the strength was supposed to be the unity in our diversity. So that has not worked at all. But on another thing we're going to even look at, like he was saying, is that there's so many people and they're not doing anything. I think it's even the other way around. We have so much of a vacuum and a lacuna, and nothing is being addressed in that direction. Rather, we're seeing a sit down, fold our hands, while our best manpower is going outside the country.
Japa syndrome.
Yes, because can you imagine going to hospital and you have to wait endlessly because only one doctor is going to attend to 1,000 people. 1,000 people to one doctor. You've almost killed the doctor. You've even reduced his lifespan. The nurse, maybe there's just going to be one nurse, one matron to another large crowd. So this is where manpower needs to be, pushed into. But we're very comfortable to see our youth unemployed. We are very comfortable to see, draggy civil service, and then all the time we're taking in the PA to the special assistant to some political office. Why?
You were saying something, but I think I want to a little bit differ from you.
Right.
When I was talking about duplicated functions, there are a lot of organizations that are doing the same thing.
True, MDAs. The MDAs will be doing what the ministry is doing.
And we talked about merging them for a long time. A committee, the Orasanwe committee came up.
Some people were asking for driver's license. Some people were asking for the same document. In fact, you leave one checkpoint, the next one is wearing a different uniform.
Asking for the same thing.
Asking for the same thing. Wasting your time that you're supposed to go and achieve one or two things. So that is in itself. We have ICPC, we have EFCC. One was created, so what are they doing? And these are duplicated functions. Then we have other offices that.
Do you remember EFCC?
Yes, I call EFCC. People that are
ICPC and EFCC.
We have offices where you go to.
And it's the same financial crime. They'll say those ones are office crime. What is the difference between office and financial crime?
The Nigeria police still on ground.
At some point, I think I want to commend the Minister of Interior now for understanding certain things, withdrawing police guards from private individuals and then empowering.
Has it been fully implemented?
Well, to an extent, the civil defense has taken over now.
Okay.
If you see private individuals that are, well off in the society, they are being guided by civil defense officers now. Yes, so at least it's working to an extent, even though it's not complete. But I think I'm beginning to see that change because at some point the civil defense corps was redundant for me, guiding pole wires and transformers and some government properties. And that's what they were created for. And then but now they're beginning to see them, performing that civic responsibility to get so that the policemen can focus on crime
and criminality. Now, for the Gen Z population, who is looking at these workers marching with all shade of banners and uniform and crowds.
Expensive universities.
And they've been talking about, and these guys go to expensive universities and people are talking about workers' welfare. And then they hear somebody is going on with 70,000 naira.
They don't want to go to work. So they decided, we're not even going to bother to go to work.
Now, talking about a Gen Z population.
Is the Gen Z I'm talking, he doesn't want to go to work.
I'm not even interested in your civil service. Keep it.
So
are we going to see a total shutdown of the civil service in the nearest future?
Not necessarily a total shutdown, but a total, let's say, a mind shift and a focus shift. I would think, I would suggest something like, look, let's sit down and look at the schedule now. What worked in 1952? Does it still work now in 2027? You have a position of chief driver, head driver, the driver, other driver, this driver, like 20 people are in the driving unit. Okay, but what have you done since then? You've picked all the cars and put them in the convoy of the minister. So the whole department, the whole ministry doesn't even have one effective vehicle. Not one vehicle. So all these people you've employed in that unit, what are they doing? So all these redundancies need to be checked. You know what I'm saying? It might sound a bit painful, like, are you asking them to sack people? No, I'm asking them to
more unemployment.
No, I'm asking them to, let's find a way we're going to reshuffle them. Let's give them maybe new skill sets and then move them to where they'll be more productive. For you to come in the morning and just sign, it's reach a point, like we said, we don't need to come every day. What am I going to do? There's no vehicle for me to drive. Chief driver, Mr. Driver, the head driver. There's nothing for them to do. We go over to, the technology now has changed. Everything is going in and out of my phone. So if I need an official document, I probably need only one person in my office to print out by the printer.
Okay.
But you have 20 people.
Let me take it from there. While you said we shouldn't have 20 people, this redundancy is the one that is eating fat into the budget that we have, the scarce resources. As a way of suggestion, he has reduced those people, and the pay that you're supposed to pay the people that you have reduced, use it to increase the ones
that are effective.
And so that you have a win-win situation. And we talked about skills, so that the 21st century skills and the Gen Z skills will not be lost out. So rather than promising the 70,000 you cannot pay, if we have, for instance, workers of about 1,000, and we say, okay, as bitter as it is, we're going to free away 500.
1,000 functional workers.
No, let's say we even have everybody as 1,000. And we say we're going to just take 500 functional. The other 500 will pay your gratuity, we give you some extra money, and then this 500, we can now say, okay, let's sit down and make your pay commiserate to your services. So that way we don't have this redundancy. The people peeling egusi or selling puff-puff and selling mineral and disturbing the whole place. Gossiping.
Yeah, I think that's just the way we need to, we need to go in the future. For instance, now that's what all these companies do currently.
Private companies,
all these oil companies, that's exactly, they give you an option. Do you want to go for the 10 years? Do you want to go for the full, they give you an option. If you're taking the 10 years.
Whenever you plan.
Yeah, if you decide to take the 10 years, they're going to give you so much for a house. It's enough to build a hotel. They're going to give you this. You're going to be set up for life. If you decide to go, up until 60, whichever. So maybe such could now be introduced. Not having people just coming around, playing around, and you're paying. They're sitting at home when the alert hits.
But then again,
hits their phone.
But then again, Mickey, if you shall say something, looking at the speech of the president of NSA, the Joe Ejiro, you should understand that he said there was a catchy word there, rising economic hardship. Some of those things are also connected to the poverty that we're having. If we continue at this level of economic hardship, we're going to produce more poor people.
No, but what we are saying, reduce the people and add to people who are functional.
Now,
then you reduce this poverty that we're talking about. Yeah.
The question you asked about what happens in the near future. Are we going to have people working? Because people are no longer interested. The Gen Zs that are watching.
Not going to conventional office.
What am I going to do? I told of a boy that the father spent over 25 million to train him, and then he got a job for 90,000 naira. And I'm asking myself, when are you going to recover the 25 million?
Return on investment.
When are you going to recover that? And so now, with that kind of scenario that you find ourselves in this country. Now, for those who are poor, because some of us, in case you're talking, you should be mindful of the fact that you are a little bit privileged. We have people who are still looking at polytechnic degree as some big achievement in the family today. BSc might be common in your family. What of the man in Kabusa that the daughter gets OND admission and he celebrates, he goes to church to shout hallelujah. So we still have, because of the rising poverty, if we take care of our economic situation in Nigeria, then we can even employ the right people, because those poor ones will be desperate enough.
You will not have the right economic situation with all the leakages, with all the abuses. No, let's not even go there. It's not going to work. You and I know, even in the civil service, there's so much leakages. And sometimes when it's the same people. And it's because you have too many people doing nothing. So you can't check and you can't control. You can't check and you can't control. So people go there to fill in gap for other people. That's what they do. And again, when government comes up with this skills, investment, MSMEs, sometimes I ask myself, can't you even start with your workers? For instance, to say, yes, I know this 70,000, because after every 5 years, you need to review your minimum wage and all of that. Why don't we pick from certain ministries every year to say, look, go for some SMEs training, take the grant, use it, so that before, that might even discourage you from even spending 10 years, 20 years. And then somebody said, why do you even have to allow people, if the private sector is saying don't stay for 10 years, you have a package to go. Why don't we apply to the civil service and say, look, in 10 years you have this, in 20 years you have this. Then you ask yourself, do I go with my 10 million naira after 10 years, or do I wait for 20 years and go with 5 million? Because you make the higher you stay less attractive.
Your civil service is...
Because you see somebody who is almost 70 years, his certificate is still reading 50 years.
Before, let me answer that question using a proverb. There's a proverb in my local dialect that says, the eye used to eat gari is